curriculum choices for 2019 to 2020. I'm sorry it has taken so long, and that's why you have this post-bedtime, sleepy, messy hair Chelsea. But I figure you don't really care what I look like. You're here to see what curriculum we're using. So I decided to just come sit down and do it, even though I look a mess. So let's get going. If you're new here, I am Chelsea, and I'm a homeschooling mama to 5 kiddos. Their ages are 4, 5, 8, almost 11, and 12. Yes. So I have grades, pre-K, then I have like a first grader. I'm kind of loose on this. If you are new, you don't know that. If you're used to my homeschool vlogs, you know. I'm kind of, some of my kids are in more than one grade. But so, okay, I have a pre-K'er. We'll say I have a first grader, I have a third grader, and then I have 2 7th graders. My 7th graders are just all completely 7th grade. My pre-K'er is all completely pre-K, but my first grader and third grader go up and down depending on the subject. Totally fine by me. Perks of homeschooling, am I right? So I think what I'll do is start with my 7th graders. Short and sweet. Okay, so here is what they are doing for language arts, grammar, writing, covers all the things. This is Rod and Staff, grade 7. So this is my teacher's book, but their book looks like this, just a little smaller. It has, like I said, it has grammar in here. It has writing, like how to make a good paragraph, how to, like today they were doing how to do a character sketch. Just kind of goes through all the things that you need for language arts. If you want, I can give you a short little thing. Writing character sketches, writing paragraphs, developing paragraphs, writing outlines, writing letters, giving oral reports, writing descriptions, giving book reports and explanations, prepositions, conjunctions, and interjections, which is studying poetry, writing stories, and writing effective sentences. They also have, I'm just having them work in a notebook this year, which is how their text works anyway. And they have another little book, I'm just showing you my teacher book, that comes with tests that I print out and give to them. But yeah, so it talks about all your like direct and indirect objects. Again, Rod and Staff, grade 7, it's building securely. This is what they're using for, we'll just say, language arts. I will link everything in the description box below, so you can find it there. Then for spelling and vocab and kind of even reading comprehension, they are doing Wordly Wise, book 7. They actually just started this today. Our school year starts differently than a lot of people's school years, so this is not our first month back. We did recently take a month off, but they just finished their other book, so they're starting the spelling a little later. And they have books from K up to 12. This is our first time using this. This is their first day using this, but just from looking through it, I love it. I want to get it for my other ones. It's just so thorough and just so well done. So I'll give you a short little, you have your words and it gives you your definitions and examples. And then you have to make 2 phrases fit, explaining one of the words in your word box. You are finding the right words, like answering questions, making sure you know the meaning. You have a passage that you then have to read. You're also finding antonyms and synonyms, all those things. And then you have like reading comprehension questions. So I really like it so far. We'll see. And then it has fun and fascinating facts about some of the words that you learned. We'll see. They did it today and they enjoyed it today. I'll let you know how it goes. If you want a more in-depth look on any of these books, just let me know in the description box. I'll do a flip through for you and show you basically every page. All right, for science, this is the first year of homeschooling that we have not done science all together as a family, that I've split it up, and it's because my big girls now being 7th graders, I'm just wanting to push them a little further. I almost split up history, but we so enjoy Story of the World that almost all of us wanted to continue doing it. So we're gonna continue doing it for a while, and then we will probably end up splitting that up as well, just because I have a big age gap kind of between my bigs and my littles and where they are academically. So for science, they are doing this. This is Fun Schooling with Thinking Tree. I love their books, they're great. This is a 7-subject science portfolio. I show this in my daily vlogs. And basically they have chemistry, meteorology, physics, geology, botany, zoology, and technology. And I think it's like 40 pages or so, a lesson. So I let them pick, and then they're using books from the library, and we have a couple of Apologia textbooks that work for this, and they're using that. So this is Minecraft and in the real world. So they use this, and then they find books at the library or textbooks that are appropriate. You watch documentaries, you make comic strips, you do explorations, vocab words, you have to draw things, like here's a greenhouse, they're drawing what it would be like in Minecraft, what a watermelon would be like in Minecraft. You find different scientific discoveries that have happened that have to do with that topic of that study. And so you find where in the world that happened, like who discovered it, draw the discovery, write your fun facts. It's just a fun way, and it really creates self-learners, and that's what I really strive for, is that they get interested in a topic and they strive to find the information themselves, and they don't just rely on me and one textbook to just tell them what they need to know. I want them to come and tell me what I need to know. And I feel like if I can at least teach them how to learn and to strive for, you know, information, education, then I've done my job. I don't want to just feed them facts. I want them to find the facts, enjoy the facts, and show me the facts. That's why I like these fun schooling books. And when we do switch our history from being all together to being the 2 big and the 3 littles, I will be having them do a fun schooling history book as well, because it's just, they enjoy picking the topics, and I love hearing what they thought about what they learned, and I feel like they have more emotions when they're picking that themselves, like this subject. But that's not everyone's cup of tea. I understand that. Some people like a textbook and here's exactly what you need to know, and sometimes I do too. It just depends on the situation, but for us, that's working very well. For math, okay, we have a long math story, but we were doing easy peasy when the girls were younger, Melissa and Natalee, my 7th graders. At the time that we quit, they quit in 5th grade, and they sent you off to Khan Academy. I just wasn't feeling Khan Academy. It's great. It's a great resource. Some people absolutely love it. We were not feeling it, and my oldest especially does not like online work. So we quit. We did master books, and that's great. A little repetitive, and my girls do catch on pretty good, so they were getting a little bored. Left master books. Hold on, the lesson of the story. You really need to pick a math curriculum and stick with it, I think. Now that I've done the hard work for you. You need to go find a math curriculum and stick to it. Oh, so go from easy peasy to master books, and there wasn't really anything missing there. There wasn't a gap in switching curriculum. Then we switched from easy peasy to teaching textbooks, because I thought, hey, if I can get some of these kids learning math on their own, I'll have more time for the little ones and just more time for everything else. And my big girls are gonna get up there in math. I'm not that great at math. I'd rather something else be teaching them, and I can just be there to help if I can. So we started teaching textbooks. The placement test put them a grade up, which is totally fine. They were doing okay, but we come back with Melissa decides, no, never mind, I don't want to do online, just like she didn't before. And she was having some trouble, and I'm not really sure what it was. Something, the way they were teaching it was not clicking. I was having to help her a whole bunch, but I wasn't listening to the lectures and reading the lesson like I was in master books, where I would read the lesson and then I could really help them because I refreshed my mind. So I was having to go back and listen to the lesson, and it was just turning into a big complicated thing. Natalee was doing fine, but big complicated thing. So I switched. I did a lot of research. We picked Saxon Math 7-6 just because I really want them to have, I could have done 8-7. I just really want some of those fundamental skills you need in math to be set very sturdy and strong right now at this point. I don't want them to, I know they could do 8-7 and they would do okay. I would rather them do 7-6 and do great. So when they get to 8-7, they'll do great in that as well. And also a confidence thing for Melissa. I wanted her to, she was starting to feel unconfident, and didn't want that to happen because that can just really pull you down in math. So I got 7-6, which is still perfectly fine. Saxon Math, and the test packets and all the worksheets. So that is what she decided to do. I'm gonna stick with this. We're gonna finish this off. So far it's working really well. She understands the way I'm having her read the chapter on her, and Natalee's doing it also. She chose to join Melissa in this once she saw what it was like. They're both enjoying it. What I have them do, I only have one textbook, so they don't do it at the same time, but they will read the chapter lesson themselves. If they have any questions, don't understand anything, they will come to me. So far that's only happened once, so it's going really well. We're doing it a couple of weeks now. They read the chapter lesson themselves, they just do all the work themselves, they bring it to me, I grade it, and then what we're doing is we had our first math meeting. If whatever they've missed, I make them correct, but what we're doing is I'm marking it down, and then we're having a math meeting on Mondays to discuss really why they're missing, because I don't have time every single day to always stop and do that. So unless something is really wrong, they missed a whole bunch. If they just missed a few, we go over those. We decided math meeting Mondays. We'll see if it sticks. So anyway, Saxon 7-6 for math, and again, they're just writing all their answers in a notebook so I can keep these things for my next kids. And then so the only thing left to show you for my big girls, I hope I got it all. Again, I'm tired. I'm probably talking way too fast too. Sorry, trying to get this done for you guys. Is history. I think that's the only thing that I haven't shown you. Sometimes they take school books off, but I think we got it. So like I said, for history, we are doing Story of the World still. We are almost done. We don't have very long left. I would say maybe a month if we do a lot of activities with it. Couple of weeks if we choose not to. We really like Story of the World, but it takes us a long time to get through a book. It can take us 2 school years to get through a book, because we will take months off of that sometimes and do history unit studies. And like we took off almost all last school year to do Prairie Primer, but we would come back to this now and then, taking a break from Prairie Primer. I'll link a card up right here for Prairie Primer if you don't know what that is. We would take a break from it because my kids would miss this so much. We really love the way it's written. We love the activities that go along with it. It's a lot of fun. So we have this. I have all the student pages. My big girls have a test book that goes with it, so they take a test when they're done, because again, they're in 7th grade now. They had the book even when they were in 6th, and I just really want to make sure they're retaining what we're reading. But we all just do this together, but we will take months off at a time to do history unit studies. So we're gonna finish that Story of the World. It's volume 2, and before we start volume 3, we're gonna take time off to do things like, I just pulled out one. This is Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry. So we'll read the book and we'll do this literature study with it. Sometimes I make my own, sometimes I buy little helpers like this. So we're gonna do this and like Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry, and just some good depression type era books, just to take some time off. That way we don't get bored, and then we'll start volume 3 and we'll just go back and forth that way. We enjoy doing that. Some people can't stand, you know, if you're doing this, you need to go along that path, but we enjoy it. It works really well for us. And then whenever we start back to Story of the World, everyone's real excited. And when we stop to take a break for other things, everyone's real excited. So that history is for all my kids, all the ages. They all listen to Story of the World, they all do student worksheets, they all answer questions, and when we stop to do other things, they all listen to the books, they all answer questions. I find age appropriate activities for them all to do. So that's for all the ages. Okay, we will now go to my 3rd and 1st grader. They do some things together because that's just what has worked out. One is 5 and one is 8, so one is kind of an advanced 5, not ridiculously so, but a little bit, and one is a slow in certain subjects, great in other subjects, 8-year-old. So they are both also doing rod and staff language arts, or grammar, however you want to say it. It's they are loving it. It's their favorite part of the day. So far we have been doing all of this orally. I haven't had them write a single thing. We use the whiteboard and we do games like where you sit down, stand up, or move forward, move back to answer questions, and it's just so much fun. They love it. And then tests, print out, and they do have a notebook to work through this. Eventually we will, but especially for some extra copy work, but they do copy work and other things. So this is grade 2. I feel like it is perfect for my first grader who can comprehend a little bit better than some first graders, and for my new third grader who hasn't learned, we haven't done a whole lot on this other than little things when they hear me teach their sisters. We used to have grammar books in our morning basket, but haven't done any formal lessons. So I feel like grade 2 is a really good place for both of them to start. Now when it comes to reading, my 5-year-old reads Bob books. She just loves them, and so we'll read other books, sometimes from the library like other readers, but she loves these and she can just read them. She'll sometimes read half the box in a day. We have 4 sets and she just like goes back through them, and I feel like as long as she's enjoying them, I'm gonna let her keep reading them. And then like I said, she picks other readers from the library sometimes, and I have some BJU readers that she also reads sometimes. I forgot to get them out. And then for my third grader for reading, he has started the Magic Treehouse series, and he just reads me a chapter out loud a day, and then we talk about that chapter, and that's his reading. I want to mention my seventh graders also are required to read at least 30 minutes each day, any kind of book they want to read a day. They usually do that at nighttime. For math, my third grader is doing teaching textbooks. He started that with my big girls. He loved it. That's what he's doing. It's going well. He also placed a grade up when I did the placement test, so he's doing 4th grade. My only dilemma here is that somehow he passed that placement test to be in 4th grade, and nowhere did it test him on multiplication, and now all of a sudden he's on lesson 51, and it started about 2 lessons ago, asking him like 9 times 8. And it says, remember what you've learned. Well, he hasn't learned that. So I've just been helping him as he works. And so what we're gonna start doing is I'm gonna start taking a little bit of time out of my day and working on multiplication with him. Just pen and paper, me and him working. I'm not gonna buy a workbook for it. And then I have flashcards. We'll do some of that, make it a fun game. And then we have like multiplication war. And so I told Melissa and Natalie, part of their school can be to play that with Liam, and we'll see if that works. But everything else on there for grade 4, he's just flying through. So I don't want to move him back to grade 3 just to learn the multiplication when he gets everything else. We'll see if that works. I'll let y'all know. Like I said, he's on lesson 51. And then for math for my first grader, she is in this Easy Peasy book 1. I've showed this before. She's been working on this for a while and she's almost done. So pretty soon I will order Easy Peasy Math grade 2. And this covers number concepts, patterns, addition, measurements, geometry, fractions, money, graphs, subtraction, and time. And she loves this. Excuse me. This is her favorite part of school, and she chooses to do it even when it's not school time. So she loves that. And then there's online things that go with it that sometimes she does and sometimes she doesn't, but she gets it all really quick. I told my big kids I think she could beat them at like addition time. Like she could answer all the addition facts faster than anyone else, I think. Not even joking. Okay. And then also my first and third grader are working through the Explode the Code books. So my first grader is starting book 2, which I didn't pull out. I accidentally pulled out 3 and 4. And my third grader is finishing up 3 and about to start 4. These, I haven't noticed them helping my 5-year-old a whole bunch. I mean, she's reading decently, pretty well, and she understands rules pretty well. She enjoys the books, but I wouldn't say I noticed anything huge. But for my 8-year-old, who's in 3rd grade, oh my goodness, these were like answer to prayer. We started using these and it's like things started clicking. We had tried other phonics programs. These were amazing. So if you have a reluctant reader, try these out. Explode the Code. Again, everything will be linked. They helped him tremendously. And then for handwriting, for my 1st and 3rd grader, they are doing Handwriting Without Tears. So anyway, these are great. I can kind of give you an idea. Okay, and then that is Violet's. Kind of give you an idea. I think Liam's even further ahead here. So in their other things they write, I tell them as long as I can read it, it counts. If I can't read it, you have to do it again. But in these, I tell them to write their best. And if it's not their best, we're doing it again. So that's the only place I make them write really well. For science for them, this is getting long. For science for my first, third, and my pre-K, or she'll listen, what we're gonna do is a whole lot of journaling. By journaling, what I mean is, we got some books from the library. I got, let's see, Magic School Bus Rides Again. So this is talking about wind and wind power and other ways we can get power. So like I might read this in one little, this is just a little picture book, and spend a few days reading this chapter book. And every time I read, they're gonna be journaling. So they're gonna tell me facts that they learned while I was reading. They're gonna draw me pictures. We will find YouTube videos that go along with this stuff, some games online, and they'll just keep track of all of this in a journal. Also got things like germs, more germs. So that's what I mean by journaling, is I just pick books on topics they're interested in for science. We read them together, talk about them together, make journals out of them. Then they can save those journals and they'll have their own little book about germs or wind power and all that stuff. And my kids retain a lot that way. We love journaling in our homeschool day. Now for my pre-Ker, I do not spend a ton of money on pre-K. I spend as little as possible. Even kindergarten, I get a lot of questions about that. To me, the best way that pre-Kers and even kindergartners learn is through play, through games, through reading. Read, 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 play, 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 have fun. Love those babies. They grow up way too fast. But I do have some things I'm gonna use, so I'll show you. I like these rod and staff. I got these all used, so like I paid like $2.50 for this, and they weren't used. So, adventures with books, Bible pictures to color, do it carefully, and finding the answers. I have an E somewhere. And so Violet had started using these 2 years ago, and they were just way too easy. So I put them away, and I thought I'm gonna save those for Aria. But yeah, so that's what we did. This has a lot of just simple tracing, getting them used to holding the crayons. And let me tell you what I do. I'll sit down with her and I'll explain a little bit and try to get her to do it correctly once or twice. Then I let her go at it, scribble whatever you want, because this is not the most important thing. This just talks about a little Bible story and shows a picture. This one, you're just, let's see, what are you doing? Ask the child, what do you see in the bowl of water? Fish. So you're finding pictures that start with F. So those things, and I'm not worried at all about what she's doing. Like I said, I'll explain it to her. I'll try to help her do it once or twice, and then I let her go, and she just does her own thing. And then I pick up a lot of little Dollar Tree workbooks because she just has fun, you know, it's Winnie the Pooh, or maybe it's Disney Princess that week. But that way, when the other kids are going through their workbooks, she can go through hers and have fun. And again, I'll help her a little bit, explain it, maybe do it once, let her go. All right, she has some fun little mats that we work on once a day. Numbers, we just talk about them, play with them, find the right spot. Letters, and she also has letter flashcards. I always teach the letter sound first. So a, b, k, d. It helps a whole lot. I didn't always do that. So I felt like it helped a lot when they start to read. And I feel like once they know what the letters are, it's real easy to say, oh, okay, well that's called an A. Sure, I'll remember that, as opposed to the other way around. And then yeah, she has her little journal for when we journal our science, and her little pencil box. And then we have this in here, and I'll slip other pieces of paper in here for her to trace, like her name, letters, numbers, and she also has a little whiteboard in her bucket. But that way she doesn't get frustrated, because at 4, they're starting to realize if they do things right or wrong, and sometimes if you can't erase it easily, it gets frustrating. So I like to have her things she can just wipe off. Hey, it's okay, look, it's gone, try again. So that's what she's doing. And then of course we do a ton of read alouds, so that counts as something, right? Surely. We do Bible time together as a family each day, and a devotional. Right now it's the Action Bible devotional. Sometimes we switch it up. Sometimes we do Easy Peasy Bible. I really like their Bible. But yeah, those are our curriculum choices. I really hope I didn't forget anything. but I apologize, this is so long. But anyway, that's what we're doing this year. Like I said, I will link everything down in the description box below. If you would like to follow along and see us do our homeschool days, I share a whole lot of homeschool day vlogs multiple times a week, and you can see us using all these books. I will also share some reviews on the books once we've used them for a bit, the ones that are new to us, and let you know how that's going. But I hope that you guys have a wonderful, blessed, successful, productive, loving homeschool year. We can be praying that we all do, right? Yes. And I will see you guys next time. Bye, y'all.